What is going on, everybody? How we doing? Welcome back to the Georgia Meth Show. I hope everyone's doing well, staying humble, staying blessed, and staying positive like always. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. As you guys see, we have a little bit of a improvement on the setup, I guess to say. We still working on it little by little. That's why last week I really didn't, I want to say, go live, because I had to make a couple adjustments, a couple other things, to make sure everything is good and set and everything is popped out well, etc. We're still making some progress. We still got a lot of things to do, but hey, we're here. A lot of news to talk about, starting from Jeff Mcneil has finally been traded by the Mets. Orioles have made some trades. Pirates have made some trades. Boston has made a lot of trades. We also got to talk about DK Metcalf punching a fan. Fan now is filing a lawsuit. A bunch of nonsense. So before we start, like I say every time, hit that like button, subscribe, comment down below your thoughts and opinions of the topic we talk about. Let's get into this. All right, so as you guys know, we always do our positive vibes segment, where we basically go through and give you guys something some words of wisdom, maybe something that could be uplifting and very motivating, if basically turn that frown upside down. Is it like that? Yeah, I think so. But here it is. A positive attitude gives you power over your circumstances instead of your circumstances having power over you. That is from Joyce Meyer. So let your positive attitude have power over circumstances. So any difficult thing, any difficult situations that may be going on, let the positive attitude, the positive mindset take over. Don't let something so simple cost your happiness or, maybe disappoint you. Don't let that happen. Try to focus on being more of hey, maybe that didn't happen for this reason, or hey, maybe it was just not the moment, that type of thing. But don't let it affect you so much. Um, Love that quote because it really is something that uplifts you, lets you understand perspectives and understand situations and circumstances, understanding that not everything is meant to be. Maybe you didn't get that car because it just wasn't the right time. Maybe this situation happened because it was going to reflect off of this, or it was going to bounce to this. So love it, love that quote. Let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. So let's start off with some baseball here. So the White Sox decided to go out and spend some cachet. The White Sox. I was like, okay, that's interesting. So the White Sox, and I will probably butcher this name like a mother truck or so, just to let you know right now. But White Sox signed third baseman Mintu Takai Makarima. I am so sorry if I butcher that name. I suck with names. That's all me. And the White Sox are in agreement of a 2-year, $34 million contract, sources told ESPN. We'll just call him MK just because I can't pronounce that name and I don't want to, be that guy. He's 25 years old. He had the single season he was the single season home run champion in Japan while bringing his power to rebuilding the White Sox. So, why this is interesting to me, to be honest, that the White Sox decided to go out and get him. He's one of Japan's most accomplished hitters. He's a former Central League MVP and one of the Nippon Professional Baseball's most prolific power hitters, holding the single-season home run record in Japan. Chicago's lineup has lacked a true middle of the bat order and potential impact. Even the questions about contact and strikeouts gives the Sox a legitimate power upside. So what this means for the White Sox, how could this benefit them and, make some progress? Gives them more of a cornerback around which to build around and to continue their rebuild. Joining younger players like Colson Montgomery, Kyle Teal, and Edgar Carrera in the lineup. It could also signal a shift toward being more active and creative in free agency, something probably White Sox and analysts have been watching closely. So Listen, I like this for the White Sox. He's only 25 years old. Man has a good amount of power in him. So obviously that's going to be beneficial for them. Now, obviously, they still have a lot of work to do. They're in the rebuild phase. We all know that they have many things to do. They're still trying to improve little by little with certain things. So we have to see how that contract leads up. And I think it's good. Think about it: 2 years, $34 million for a guy that could possibly, let's say, get you 25 home runs, 80 RBIs. That's not too bad. 2 years, see how he produces, and if he does well, give him an extension. If not, let him go. I think that's a good signing, a good way to keep producing and be growing little by little. Overall, I like it. I think it will be good for the White Sox and just keep having their younger players grow and grow and their prospects develop way better. Now, continuing on with signings, but a little bit different. This is a three-way trade between the Pittsburgh Pirates, Houston Astros, and the Tampa Bay Rays. So this was a pretty big trade, to be honest. So let's talk about it. So let's start off with the Pirates. So the Pirates, you guys get Brandon Lau, Jake Mangum, and Madison Montgomery. They get them from the Rays. So obviously we know Brandon Lau, two-time All-Star, left-handed power bat. Jake is an outfielder, versatile, with strong rookie performance. And then Macy is a left-handed relief pitcher with upside. So Pirates, I guess, are looking to put more of a not the championship, but more of a upside winning team for Paul Skeens, obviously. Now, I just, when people mention that, I still go back to the fact that, like, why? For what? Because it's like, we got to understand that the Pirates are not going to win. They are not in a win phase at all. They're not. We all know they're not going to spend money. I'm trying to figure out and understand why are they not going to trade Paul Skeens now when they can get a haul back for him. Think about it. Like the haul they could get for Paul Skeens is higher than probably what the Nationals got for Juan Soto from the Padres, and and then just keep developing because we all know that if Scaball wants 450 million, just as an example, we all know either Skeens is going to want as much, or if not more, probably 500, maybe 480. So we all know in God's green earth, the Pirates are not going to do that. So it's like, why continue putting false hope when we all know that you're not going to do anything at the end of the day? Like you're not going to want to win. That doesn't make sense. Um, with the Astros, so the Astros receive Mike Bowers from the Pirates. He's promising young starter with solid rookie season numbers. Rays receive Jacob Middleton from the Astros, high regarded outfield prospect. And they also receive Anderson Brito from the Astros, a young pitching prospect with upside. So basically, Pittsburgh adds a big bat and Lau to their lineup that struggles offensively, plus depth with Mangum and a lefty arm. Houston bolsters up its rotation by acquiring Bowers and a controllable starter pitcher entering his prime years. Tampa Bay shifts towards youth by getting two upside prospects, Middleton and Bruto, helping reload a prospect pipeline. So, look, I guess winning. I guess that's pretty good for the Rays. I would say. Obviously, we know the Rays have a little bit of work to do because their division is getting stronger and stronger as time goes by. We all know that Blue Jays want to win. Yankees, of course, want to win. And, the Orioles want to win. The Orioles have made a couple signings. Blue Jays went to the World Series, and they're looking stronger still. Yankees are going to do their thing. So Tampa's realizing, hey, we got to step up our game because if not, we're going to fall behind. For the Pirates, it's more of just trying to get small pieces that they can work around with to maybe put some wins on the column. Astros, I would say it's just more of just a bolster up, like I said, keep helping their team win and, be consistent. I think that's what's important for them. I think that's what they care about is probably wanting to win more and more and more. Obviously, they didn't have a good season last year, so they're trying to develop young and keep going while they still have their veterans on the team. So, listen, oh, nice, interesting trade talks. Three teams that you probably didn't expect, but that's all right. All right, shifting forward, Michael King and the San Diego Padres have reached an agreement, you guys. So Michael King has resigned with the Padres for 3 years, $75 million, keeping him in San Diego. This deal includes an opt-out clause after both next year and 2027. So this gives him a bit of flexibility where he could probably opt out and get more money if he does well. Contract also features a $12 million signing bonus and a structured salary that could make the deal effectively short or long term depending on his performance and decisions on opting out. So why does this matter for the Padres? King was a key part of the Padres rotation after they acquired him from the Yankees in the blockbuster trade for Juan Soto. Over the 2 seasons with San Diego, he's been one of the most consistent starters, posting strong ERA numbers and establishing himself as a frontline arm despite an injury impact this past season. 2026, obviously, their outlook, their vision, with Dylan Cease departing and Yu Darvish likely to miss most of the 2026 season, King's role becomes even more critical as the Padres solidify their rotation alongside Nick Pivetta and Joe Musgrove. King has expressed his excitement in San Diego in pursuing a championship. He tells reporters he felt the club was a good fit and that he had unfinished business with the team. So, look, we all understand that, he has a bit of work to do. He didn't have too much of a good year. He had a 3.44 ERA with a whip of 1.2 and 73 innings pitched with 76 strikeouts and a WAR of 1.2. So, injuries got him a little bit, but if we let's say look to the year prior in 2024, he had a 2.95 ERA with 173 innings pitched, 63 walks, 201 strikeouts with a whip of 1.192 and a WAR of 4.1. So, look, I like this for the Padres. King is 30 years old, so he's still young. They have him locked down for 3 years. Essentially, and it's very friendly for both sides because if he does bad, you can still have him there, and he's a short term, and he also benefits King because it has opt outs after every single year. So if King, let's say, wants to get out of there and wants to get more money, hey, he's able to. And obviously the Padres, they need starting pitching. Like I said, Yu Darvish is going to be out. And that is one of their key things that they were missing last year. Dylan Cease has now gone to the Blue Jays, and he didn't do too well. Let's be honest. He posted up a 4 ERA with the Padres. So I think King probably helps them out, be that number 3 guy, and at least balance it out to where maybe they can use a couple rookies, a couple prospects to come up, be their number 4 and 5, put less pressure on them. And I think Michael King will solidify. He's proven himself that he can pitch well. And that he can do well for the Padres, and Padres obviously want to be consistently winning. Fan base is really happy with the team, and they got great players, with Tatis, Machado, Bogarts, so listen, I like this for the Padres. Good signing, obviously still got to go make a couple other moves. And listen, good job bringing back Michael King. Obviously a lot of teams were interested in him, but at the end of the day, you got him, so that's not bad. All right, now to my team a little bit. Let's talk about Jeff Mcneil, you guys, has finally been traded. So, as I've been saying many, many, many times, you guys, I've been saying it a lot. Jeff Mcneil, we had to get rid of him. Not because of the human being himself, but because he just wasn't performing for us. Jeff Mcneil, you guys, he was struggling. If we were going to keep it real, he was struggling. Injuries got him a lot. And he was just not as consistent as, let's say, how he was in 2022 or his 2019 season. Let's say, for example, this year he had a 243 batting average with 12 home runs, 54 RBIs, on-base percentage of 746 with an OPS plus of 111, slugging 411, and on-base percentage of 335, OPS at 746, and an OPS plus of 111. With a combined WAR of 2.0. So if we look to the year prior to that, you guys, he had A batting average of 238, on base percentage of 308, slugging 384, OPS of 692, and an OPS plus of 96. We look to the year prior to that, an OPS plus of 97, OPS 711 with a slugging 378, on base percentage of 333, and a batting average of 270. So obviously, those 2 years prior to this year, on base or OPS plus is literally below league average. Not good. He's projected to have, let's say, 11 home runs, 48 RBIs, batting average of 248, on base percentage of 322, slugging 389, OPS of 711. So obviously not good, and he's just getting older. He's going to be 34 next year. So let's essentially break it down. So the Mets trade Jeff McNeil to the Oakland A's and receive back a 17-year-old pitching prospect, Jordan Rodriguez. We also give them cash, so I guess they could pay. We're basically essentially giving them money so he could play against us. Let's just put it like that. So, obviously, like I just explained before, we had to get rid of McNeil, you guys. We had to get rid of him. It's just wasn't productive, essentially taking space, where we could occupy with somebody else. Especially now having like Marcus Simeon, Jorge Polanco, we have Luis Angel Acuna, Ronnie Mauricio. It was just taking up space. Contract was a good amount of money also, even though we're paying it off. And it just wasn't, it was pointless. As we see, they really wanted to get rid of him just with whatever because we got a 17-year-old pitching prospect who's barely pitched anything. So we'll see how that pans out. See if maybe he develops into something good. I think from my understanding, he hasn't really been and he hasn't pitched anything at all. Like you can't even find him on, pitching reference or anything. I think he's just been in the minor leagues. And listen, yeah, he pitched, I believe it was 1 game or 2 games. It was essentially just to get rid of him, get him out of here. With the Mets right now, the way I stand is just I'm trying to understand what we're doing. I really am. I'm being patient. I was frustrated, especially when we let like Pete go, Edwin Diaz go. So I'm just going to wait it out. I'm going to wait and see what in the world we have in mind. And as soon as spring training starts, if this is the roster that we go with, then I'll definitely have more to say. Jeff McNeil, though, great guy, but we had to get rid of him. It was too much of a taking up space kind of guy where, I'm sorry, but there's no use for you. You got to go type of player. Best of luck, though. Hope everything goes well with him and the A's. And we'll see how that pans out. Now, I know we're talking a lot about sports here. A lot. I know it's probably getting dreadful. But we got Baltimore Orioles trade. So the Orioles are going in strong, you guys. So Orioles made a trade with the Tampa Bay Rays. They are acquiring Shane Baez, a 26-year-old, controllable through at least 2028 season. Rays receive Slater DeBron, Caden Bodine, Michael Forret, and Austin Overin, and the 2026 competitive balance round pick, number 33 overall. So this was a major offseason move for Baltimore, reflecting their intent to strengthen the rotation that lacked in production in 2025 and comes after big additions like Pete Alonso in free agency. So what this means, Baez profile, a former first-round pick with a 5-pitch mix tool with a high velocity. Baez has shown he's promised, but battled injuries early in his career, including Tommy John. Last season, he made 31 starts with an ERA of 4.87, his first full season since injury. Orioles' strategies probably is to give up significant prospect capital and draft picks, signaling that the front office leadership views Baez as a key part of their immediate rotation plans, while he still has 3 years of team control. So, listen, we'll see how he does. He didn't have too well of a season. I think the injuries, like I said, has been, putting belt to ass on him. Hasn't been too exciting, but he's been in the league for now 4 years. He's only 26 years old. Had a 4.87 ERA with a WHIP of 1.3 and 166 innings pitched with 176 strikeouts and a WAR of 0.4. So his best year so far, I would want to say personally, it looks like was last year in 2024, where he had a 3.6 ERA with 79 innings pitched, uh, 27 walks, 69 strikeouts, and a WHIP of 1.0. 23-3, he was injured the whole year, so he didn't play at all. He's projected to have a 4.29 ERA with 55 walks, 152 strikeouts, and a WHIP of 1.2. So what would I say for the Orioles? They're obviously trying to win, you guys. Continuing similar to how it was with Tampa Bay. They're trying to be consistent. They're trying to be winners. They're trying to help out that rotation that wasn't really good. He is going to be one of those coin tosses where you got to hope that like little by little he develops into a good pitcher, because as we see, he's been injured a lot, and then having close to 5 ERA is not good. We'll see though, maybe a different ballpark, a different mentality of a team with wanting to win. Maybe he lines up, does well. Obviously, as we also saw, the Orioles have re-signed Zach Eflin. So he comes back to the Orioles. They're looking to win. They want to win, and he could be a good addition. He's only 27 years old, 26 essentially, so he's young. I think this could reflect off pretty well, and help both teams. All right, let's go because I'm trying to get out of this baseball talk. A lot of baseball talk. We got the Red Sox have acquired William Contreras, or Wilson Contreras, and $8 million to cover part of his remaining $41.5 million in salary. So Cardinals get right-handed Hunter Dobbins, Yoker Ferrara, and Blake Anita. Red Sox acquire, like I said, Wilson Contreras and $8 million. So why in the blue world would Boston make this addition, you guys? So Contreras adds right-handed power bat and a lineup protection. He's shown he can handle first base / DH, which fits Boston's roster flexibility. With $8 million covered, Boston has really taken on closer to $33.5 million, which is reasonable for a middle of the bat order. Low prospect cost, no top tier arms included. Concerns though, obviously with Wilson, is defense at first base is still below average. Injury history. Contract runs through 2027, so it limits his payroll flexibility for Boston. So obviously we saw at the beginning the Mets were interested in Wilson Contreras, which I was not. I was like, why are we wanting Wilson Contreras? To me, it doesn't make any sense. He had an okay year. It wasn't like bad for his age, but it was good. I would say more in the middle. He had a 257 batting average with 20 home runs, 80 RBIs with an on-base percentage of 344, slugging 447, on-base percentage of 791, or OPS of 791, and an OPS plus of 123 with a combined WAR of 2.5. So it wasn't too bad. The year prior to that, he had a batting average of 262 with an on-base percentage of 380, slugging 468, OPS of 848, OPS plus of 138. So he did pretty well. He didn't have that much at bats though, but he did good for the Cardinals. What does this mean? I would say for Boston, they want to be consistently winning. Also, they want to be winning. Obviously, they needed a first baseman to cover that hole that they have going on there. Wilson doesn't really. We all know Cardinals are rebuilding, so they're willing to give up anybody. Wilson doesn't really acquire anything crazy. You don't have to really give up the haul for him. Now Cardinals, obviously, they get back a prospect. They get prospects, Hunter, Fardro, Blake. So why do they do this? Obviously, this clears long-term money. And somewhat an awkward fit, adds multiple young arms for depth and development, fits a retool and / rebalance of approach if they want to flex. Concerns, no headline prospect coming back, selling low on a MLB proven bat, so fans may view this as an underwhelming unless one arm pops. Overall, St. Louis feels light unless they're prioritizing payroll relief and pitching volume over the upside. So basically, essentially, you gave up a good proven bat for no top prospects at all. So that's pretty interesting because you want to rebuild. I don't know why wouldn't you want to go out and get a good arm. Um, I want to say we got to let it play out a couple years. I think this will probably be a contract that Boston will not end up regretting, but it's just one of those where it's like, on to some football, you guys. So, Cowboys have missed the playoffs again, ladies and gentlemen. They just, I don't know what they're gonna do, man. I really don't. There is an issue that I know a lot of people have mentioned and have said, but it's just the problem is it's like the top guy, top guy. So you really can't do anything unless something crazy happens, sadly. But what went wrong? Inconsistency all season. Dallas never found week-to-week stability, especially against playoff caliber teams. The defense dropped off, injuries and regression hurt a unit that used to carry games. Close losses, a handful of one-score games flipped the wrong way and ended up deciding their fate. Crowd NFC race. Even with a decent record, the NFC playoffs picture tightened, leaving little margin for error. Why this hurts more? This extends the Cowboys' longest postseason drought. No NFC Championship appearance since the 1995 season. Missing the playoffs again puts the real pressure on the front office and coaching staff, especially with a roster that's supposed to be in a win now. Big offseason questions. Mike McCarthy's future. Dak Prescott's long-term direction. Contract/ceiling debates aren't going away. Roster reset versus retool, especially on defense and the offensive line. So, here's my thing. I think I've said this before, but I will say it again. I'm sorry, but as long as Jerry is the dang guy running everything and operating the Cowboys, you are not going to win. It's very simple. And I think many people have said it because it's very true. As long as Jerry is at the front office making decisions on who they're going to trade, who they're going to acquire, who they're going to draft, you are not going to win. I'm sorry, but you're not going to. This guy just doesn't do anything right. Think about it. He got rid of Michael Parsons, a great freaking player. You got rid of him. You did go out. Let's say, yes, you got George Pickens, but, who knows? He's about to be a free agent. Let's see if he decides to walk. You guys haven't been to an NFC Championship since the 95 season. We're in 2025, about to be in 2026. And you guys haven't been to an NFC. You literally got your ass whooped by the Green Bay Packers the last time you were there. And you guys aren't consistent. It's just that's the problem. You guys aren't consistent. You gave Dak a whole lot of money for a guy that hasn't proven to you that you can take you far. You've just been doing dumb moves. You didn't go out and get a Derrick Henry when you guys needed a running back. He literally said that he wanted to play for you guys. So it's point blank period. As long as Jerry Jones is running the dang freaking Cowboys, you guys aren't going to win nothing. It's very simple. You guys had a lot of potential. There shouldn't be that much of a inconsistency like this. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. You guys have CeeDee Lamb, you got George Pickens, you got Dak there. Why is there such a lack of consistency of wins? Like, that doesn't make sense. I don't think Mike McCarthy will be let go. Because I think these are issues that are not just coaching. I think this is a front office /owner issue. I think this owner is just being very hard-headed, and instead of going out and getting people to do that job that is there for, he's just wanting to be selfish. So, like I said, as long as he's there, you guys aren't winning. Point blank, period. Now, let's finish this off, you guys. I'm not going to comment too much. DK Metcalf, you guys, has probably got himself into some big trouble now. And obviously now is in some bigger issues, if we got to keep it real. It's a bit of a, how could I put it? It's rough, but it's like at the end of the day, it's going to be very interesting when in the blue world happens, you guys. So let's discuss. So as you guys know, the Pittsburgh Steelers were playing the Detroit Lions week 16 in Detroit. Pittsburgh Steelers, obviously, DK Metcalf was caught on camera getting into an altercation with a fan in the stands during the second quarter. Video shows Metcalf appearing to punch or swing at the fan, grabbing his shirt/wig and throwing a closed fist punch. The incident happened while the game was live and broadcast. Officials did not see it in real time, so no penalty or ejection occurred then. Immediate aftermath, Metcalf stayed in the game after the incident and finished playing. His coach, Mike Tomlin, said he had no comment post-game and hasn't seen the footage yet. Metcalf also did not speak to reporters about it. League response and potential consequences. So it was obviously reviewed on all that, etc., which we'll go over in a second. Extra context, the fans involved was reporting leaning over the rail and wearing a blue wig. Some social media posts claimed that the fan called Metcalf by his full name before the altercation. Through that detail isn't confirmed by official sources. Social media reactions show fans shocked that he wasn't ejected, and many debating his disciplinary and all that, etc. So let's discuss. So obviously, the league went ahead and suspended DK Metcalf for 2 games, resulting to, well, it's been reported that the Steelers declined to void his $45 million in guarantees after his altercation last week with the fan, but he does have a 2-game suspension. The league has suspended him for 2 games. Now, what in the world is going on? So here's the thing. There's a situation going on. The fan has obviously now come out and pursued to file a lawsuit and sue DK Metcalf. Now, an issue is that folks like Shannon Sharp and Ocho basically said that they've heard that the fan had basically talked about DK Metcalf's mom and had said a racial slur towards DK. Now, that is a bit interesting because now it looks like it's not been the case with, let's say, for example, the fan. So let's just pull up and see what the fan says, and we're going to continue from there.
It is really hard to get me upset, but there's 2 things: animal abuse, racism. Like, I get hot right away. Like, I can feel it in my face, it gets all warm. So I guess I want to be crystal clear about one thing. I didn't use any racial slurs, no hate speech. I mean, none of that stuff at the game. Actually, never. 15 years season ticket holder for the Lions, I've never done that at all. So, to Kalen, if you're watching this, man, just, if you could just say that, please. Like, my family's getting threats and stuff, and it's not cool. So, whether you said that or not, I'm sure you didn't want that to happen to the family. Even if you did, like, I forgive you, man. That's all I got. Go.
All right. So as we see, that is the fan, you guys, discussing that, basically saying that he didn't say those racial slurs that like Ocho's been saying and other people have been saying. So what's the situation? Obviously, DK is going to be in major trouble. Either he's going to have to come out and speak out and say that was false, or something's going to happen here. Obviously, it's going to be very icky for DK. He's most likely going to lose this lawsuit because there's video proof of him hitting the fan. Listen, if I'm gonna say this, if it's true that that's false, that the fan didn't say any racial slurs and that DK just got mad at him because he said his government name, you got to be shitting me. That's all I'm gonna say. You got to be kidding me. If DK went over and punched the fan because he called him his full government name, dude, you got to be kidding me, bro. That is mad childish. Mad childish. Especially the distance you walk. You were like all the way over there. The fan was all the way over here. And you go and punch the fan because he called you your full name. It's hard to believe that that's true, because it would be more realistic if, DK went over there because the guy started talking about his mom and all that. Because, yeah, if you talk about someone's mom for no reason, especially without knowing them, trust me, there's problems. But if you went and hit him because he called you by your real name, your government name, bro, you got to be kidding me, dude. Like, that's crazy childish. Um, I hope everything turns out well. DK may lose a lot of money here, from his contract because of the suspension, but that's OD to me, you know. Um, and you never hit a fan like that. That's something that you never do. That's probably the number one or top three rules. You never hit a fan. You got to control yourself because you understand that, especially being away, not in your home stadium, people are gonna say dumb shit and say the craziest shit. We've seen that many times in basketball games, baseball games, where people just do go and say the dumbest shit. So I don't know what to say. It's gonna suck. At the end of the day, it's like he's wanting his money, and there's a good chance that he's gonna get it if we're gonna be honest. Because if not, this is going to be not good. Because you cannot hit a fan. You can't do that. Like that's OD. Um, and not good. But I'm gonna wrap it up here, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Like I say every time, stay humble, stay blessed, stay positive, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.